Look out, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's there's good people on both sides. Part 2. Dyze In Your House.
Nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. But that's okay, cause I don't like y'all anyway. And I don't like y'all anyway.
When I used to joke about rising fascism in America and the fall of democracy, I really thought I was being, like, over the top.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
Representing Staten Island.
I mean, like, all kidding aside, I'm a high school dropout. I never thought the words autocracy and kleptocracy would be in my vernacular. I just never thought that that would be a thing.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
It's very, very difficult and frustrating to have progressive ideology living on Staten Island, or as I call it, North Texas. Example, your weed dealer pulls away and he's got a Trump Pence hat sitting on his back windshield. This is real life.
Representing Staten Island.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
The most important thing you can do for me listening to this podcast is to not get sidetracked with distractions and nonsense. There is a person occupying the Oval Office who has committed crimes every single day of his life. And the only way to combat this is not to look at polls, it's to go vote in November.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
Representing Staten Island.
Want to hear a little story about some of those people who are going to be voting in November? I'll tell you. People that value guns over children. People who think the South will rise again. People that think ending slavery was a failed experiment. White nationalists.
Representing Staten Island.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing the dust blunts.
Be a part of ending the rise of fascism and the fall of democracy in America by keeping it locked to East Coast Radio, Dyze In Your House, and hit the polls in November.
Hey, yo. Who's in the house? Dyze In Your House. What is the word, peeps? What goes on? It is Saturday. We are a day late, $1 short, but we are back with another action-packed edition of Dyze In Your House. This is the pre-show, the post-show, and the prelude to the very long form J Parks podcast that comes out every Monday on the Andy Derr Podcast Network. Got a lot of stuff that goes on, a lot of stuff that happens during the week, rising fascism, corruption all over the place. So it wasn't enough to go 100 minutes a week on my one podcast with my namesake. I needed to start a second one. So this is the podcast that comes out usually on Friday, but today it's Saturday because the long night last night. We'll talk about that on Monday. But so what we do here on East Coast Radio for the Least Heard Voices is we try to give you 20 minutes, give or take 20 minutes of a story, so we don't have to take care of it on the J Parks podcast, because too many things at once can confuse anybody. So we're just here to take it slow. It's like a first date. We're just here to take it slow. So today I mean, listen, we got a lot of stuff going on. And listen, on Monday on the Jay Perks podcast, we're going to talk about this judge in the Manafort case and how he's, like, begging for a mistrial. We're going to talk about all the corruption. We are even going to talk about Omarosa with tapes. We are going to talk about Russian sanctions and why they're a farce. And you know what? I say we're going to talk about all those things, but who the heck knows what the news cycle brings? Because this weekend, folks, they're back. They're back. Unite the Whites rally. I'm sorry, Unite the Right rally. Except there's no black people, so it should just be Unite the Whites rally. Part 2 coming to DC today. This weekend. I mean, you know, it's not enough that they killed that girl. They have to come back. White power. That is what they say. Step up, though. They banned Nazi flags, so there's that. But Alexandria, Virginia has already declared a state of emergency. And, you know, if that was some resist protest, you know, resistance march or something, I bet Trump would tweet and complain about it. But since it's white nationalists and QAnon folks that are going to be marching, it's just okay, protest is fine, right? Same thing with, just like chain migration is bad except when his in-laws do it. Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Melania's parents are citizens now. She sponsored them. And that chain migration? So anyway, guys. Really, I mean, I didn't even think. I didn't even think when that rally happened the first time. It never occurred to me that, oh, maybe they'll do this again. I thought after they went out there and made fools of themselves. Like, it's one thing to protest things. Say you're protesting injustice, you know, you're protesting, you know, this family detention, protesting the regime. Like, at least you have valid reasons as to why you're protesting. Any reporter that asks these people why they're protesting, well, we don't want any brown people coming to take our jobs. Like, come on, man. I mean, what is this? Like, I get it that Trump's policies are, like, 1920s-ish. But why does everybody who follows him need to behave that way? Where are the people that said, oh, well, I just like him because he's a businessman. Now I know he's an asshole. Where are those people? Because here's the thing. People have this misconception. And I'll tell you a little story. So people have this misconception. So I was told the other day. So I mentioned that I was watching Morning Joe. Somebody, listen, I get it. Somebody told me, you know, Morning Joe, they both voted for Trump. They said so. I don't think they did. I think Joe said he wrote in John Kasich. But I just want to say, like, in terms of people, like, who would I watch in the morning? Like, I don't hate every person that voted for Trump, right? I hate the people that stand by Trump today. Those are the people that are the most dangerous. The people that see all his failings, the people that see the emperor who has no clothes on, and they just continuously, blindly, you know, support the machine. Even Rand freaking Paul fell in line and conformed to the ires of Trumpism. I bet his neighbor beat the American out of him. You know what I'm saying? He goes and delivers a handwritten note from Trump to Putin the day before sanctions get dropped. We're going to talk about that on Monday. But we got people descending on Washington that are mad about the colorization of America, that are mad about this preconceived thought in their mind because they watch too much Fox News, that somehow people of a different race or ethnicity are a danger to them and their way of being. Like Lauren Ingram said, some parts of America aren't like they used to be. Yeah, well, we're sorry. We're sorry that black people are allowed to roam the streets free and they're not locked up in cages like they're on safari. I apologize. I'm sorry that we don't have slaves anymore, Lauren Ingram and all you Fox hosts. And I'm sorry for all you people that think culture is changing. No. America is an ever-changing culture. It's not the other way around. It's not, oh, we let these people in, so America's culture is changing. It's these people came to change America's culture. What we're living in right now is a culture. It's a culture. Everyone's got a culture about something. Whether it's a pill culture, gratification culture, iPhone culture. YouTube culture. Roblox culture. That's one of those words you say too many times and it loses its meaning. So what's the over-under on Trump's nice people on both sides comments? That's happening again, right? That was a lot of people turned on him at that point. As well they should. The problem is that racism is becoming more and more, I don't want to say readily available, but, readily available. Racism is happening in America all over, out in the open, more and more. People feel empowered. And it's white people that feel empowered. They feel empowered to go march in the streets and spread hate. Tiki torches. Confederate flags because they're repping their heritage. No, your heritage is racist. That's not heritage. That was a flag that was invented by people that wanted to keep slaves. That's not your heritage. It's just a sad state of affairs in America. So, like these people, the Unite the Right people, those people can't be saved, They're over there talking, they're over there supporting Trump, loving Trump, They love them some Trump. They would let Trump pee on them if it was an opportunity to do so. But there are people that voted for Trump that now are like, listen, that was it. I fucked up. My bad. And I'll welcome those people. Like going back to the Morning Joe thing. These guys had Trump on, every week in 2015. They had him on all the time. So they probably were part of the enablers. The people that enabled this to happen. They're a part of the people that helped normalize this in November 2016. But out of all the morning shows out there that have people holding Trump accountable, at least on Morning Joe, there's 17 other people around the table who, are not there to support Trump. Even all the Republican strategists. I like seeing Steve Schmidt, Rick Wilson. I like seeing these people. I like seeing Republicans be like, yo, what happened to Republicans? This ain't conservative. Nazis ain't conservative. Republicans like to gerrymander brown people and stuff like that, but they've usually been at least put on a front that they're accepting, not now. And let's just go over a fact here, and a fact is that America in a couple of years, America in about 20, 30 years is going to be predominantly Muslim. I know that scares a lot of people, but there are younger Muslims, there are a younger amount of Muslims than there are Christians. So what I'm trying to say to you is that brown people, America is getting more brown. And I'm sorry if that makes you, like, upset, uncomfortable, uneased. But if it makes you feel any of those ways, don't worry. Because there's something that's called something. It's called racism. It's called hatred. It's called having hatred deep down inside of you. I don't understand. I mean, listen, every time, every time I go to if I go to a gun march or a protest, people say I'm stupid, I'm wasting my time. How many things did that change? You know, they say shit like that to me. But then there's Unite the Right, and if I complained about it on Facebook, people would be like, oh, well, oh, they have the right, Jay. No. I mean, technically they do, but you do not have the right to hate speech. Now, I get what you're saying. I get, like, they got permits, and they actually do have the right, but it's like the whole First Amendment Alex Jones thing. Alex Jones gets taken off Facebook and shit, and people think their First Amendment rights are getting violated. No, it's not. He's not being punished by the government. Facebook's a private company. And even if they're a public company, they're a company. They're not the government. Let's be, like, the people that don't understand the First Amendment are the same people that don't understand the Second Amendment. Do you people read, or do you just fight for things that you've never read before? One of those I'm going to read the headline and share the article things. Let me explain something. Alex Jones got taken off Facebook and all that, and a lot of his stuff, because he spreads hate speech. And because it's not taking away his First Amendment rights. Taking away his First Amendment rights are what they do in Russia when they throw journalists in jail and kill them. That's taking away First Amendment rights. Not telling someone you can't be on Facebook anymore. Dude, that guy is suing Sandy Hook parents. Famed him, like, what kind of warped mind is that? And what kind of warped mind listens to that and watches that stuff? I'll tell you who. The people marching right now. The people who want to unite the right. I want to unwhite the right. How about that? I just don't... How can... So they went to the city and asked for a permit for that, and the city just... They banned one guy, and they told them not to bring flags with swastikas on it. And that's it? And that's fine? Those are the only precautions we took? This doesn't make any sense. How? I mean, I'm surprised they're not marching in Staten Island. What are you so afraid of? There is not... Like, alright, I was getting searched at a concert the other day. Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson. And I will get into the rapey security guard on the episode of the Jay Parks podcast. I will get into that. But I just want to talk about, like, so they have metal detectors at every concert, right? So every concert, you're on your way in, you have to empty out your pockets, put them through, and you have to wait online, go through the metal detector, maybe buzz it off, whatever. So, like, this slows up the getting into the concert experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a chance you can miss if you plan on, I'm going to get in at 8 o'clock, and that line is extra long at whatever time you get on it, you might get to your spot after 8 o'clock. You might get to your seat after 8 o'clock, and that might mess your whole night up. You might miss some of the first band that you wanted to see. So this whole thing moves so slow. And you wonder, well, there's a better way. There's got to be a better way. But there's not. Because terrorism And if building walls and banning Muslims is going to take away the metal detectors, it's not. We're still going to have these precautions. I just want to, really fast, wherever that school was in New Mexico that was allegedly training ISIS fighters or whatever to go shoot up schools, false flag. I'm sorry. I'm calling it right there. Who ran the thing? Lee Harvey Muslim? Get the freak out of here. That nonsense. Why would they need to be trained to do that in America? I don't get it. But things like that get blown up on Fox News. And they got a whole legion of people. They've revved up this audience for years. They were waiting for Unite the Right One, Unite the Right. They're waiting for Nazi Yahtzee to come out. They're waiting for it. And it's like, and I just read an article somewhere that says, like, white people calling the cops on black people isn't new, but it's actually something old called white flight. I guess that was when they were scared of brown people back in the day. But like, yeah, man. I mean, people call the cops on black people for using coupons. Then they march in the streets. They say they're not racist. They just believe in everything that's racist. Racist tendencies. They're not racist. They just hate Jewish people, black people, Muslims, Indians, Italians, media, liberals. So at the concert the other day, they had paper straws. So us libs can use straws now. Listen, man, you got a whole bunch of white folks who are hell-bent on marching down the streets and letting people know that they're white and they are proud. And it's not like, oh, well, Jay, you know, if this black people are proud to be black, why can't white people be proud to be white? Everybody is proud to be what they are. How about that? We don't need to be... There's no black parade. I mean, there's no exclusively black people protesting. You know? I mean, today there's going to be some Black Lives Matter and Antifa people meeting the Charlottesville Klansmen or whatever. I'm sure there's going to be tons of counter-protesters. Instead of just, you know, telling these guys, no, you can't march. But you want to know why they told them that they gave them the permit? Because of that First Amendment that we talk about. That crazy First Amendment. See, now they could march in the street and they could get doxxed by Sean King. They can get fired from their job. They can get abused on the internet. They can get beat up in the street. As long as the government is not allowed to censor them. So the government's not allowed to punish them for things they say. That's the First Amendment. I mean, I don't think that, you know, nowadays Nazis should be given a platform. I don't think they deserve a First Amendment. I think it's very un-American to hate somebody who's a different color or creed of you. I think that's one of the most un-American things you can do, actually. I think that's one of the most unpatriotic things that can ever be done. Is hate the people that are here for being here because they wanted a better life. And that's all, I mean, that's really end of day, EOD, that's all people wanted. Better life. And if you had the opportunity to have a better life, you'd leave here too. So don't sit there and tell me, oh Jay, you don't like it so much you should leave. Like, you know damn well that that's not a thing that could be done. Okay? You know that people don't just get up and move to other countries. You understand that that's very hard to do. So don't sit there and pretend that that's easy to do. So these people that came from other countries actually did that. Think about all your stuff. What are you taking? What are you taking with you? Because, like, I'm looking at my room right now. I got a TV. I got 2 computers. That stuff is already too heavy for me. So I'm gonna get up and move my life somewhere for what? If it's that bad, I gotta get out. And it's so bad that a judge is telling Jeff Sessions he's gonna get held in contempt. They gotta turn planes around. You can't be deporting parents. And not even because they're parents. Like, the judge was like, they're plaintiffs. You can't deport people who are in a pending case. It's crazy. It's nutty. And I just don't... It hurts my head a lot talking about it. Drives me up a wall. Like, I feel like I don't want to be like I hate all white people, but I hate a lot of white people, including my girlfriend's neighbor. Oh my God, flying his drone, looking for the illegals. Jay Porks, Dyze In Your House. Hey yo, Jay Porks here, back to recording my own commercials. And here's the deal. You may have heard me complaining on today's podcast or a previous podcast about suffering through a summer of unemployment. Well, we have a fix for that, and it is called Patreon. That's right. East Coast Radio now has a Patreon page, and all you need to do is go to patreon.com/jporks, and there are 3 tiers that you can subscribe to, 3 tiers you can join to become a member of East Coast Radio, of the East Coast Radio community, of Porks Nation. You'll even have a chance to pick the name and all that stuff. And we are not offering just thank yous and shout outs. We got bonus content. There is even a tier where you are able to talk to me on the phone every week. And we will go over what is happening in our country. And you could personally talk to me, Jay Pork. Personal interactions. There's a tier where there's a group. You can join a group, and you could affect where the podcast goes that week. I need a community. I need help. Not necessarily money, but I need people to be helping me out. So therefore, that's why I created a East Coast Radio Patreon. Not to be confused with a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter. This is not me with my hand out. I have bonus content. Bonus.